All right, you guys. So we are down to the last session for PoB for the summer program. I know we came so far, and we actually into section 2 of the syllabus. I think there's about 8, if I could remember, it's about 8 sections. So imagine we are now looking into section 2 of the syllabus. All right. So for those who are now joining in, please refer to, the chat with regards to the timetable for the new term, September. PoB 4, 5, repeaters, adults. You all know the times, right? Thursday from 5 to 6:30 for PoB Form 4. And you all know that you all can reach me at 678-2487 to register for the Google Classroom to have access to the materials for PoB. But you have to send me the WhatsApp so that I can put you all into the classroom. So section 2 of the syllabus, we are going to be looking at internal organizational environment. And in this topic here, you guys, this is one of my favorite topics because when I was first doing this subject as a student in secondary school, I didn't know what I wanted to be later on in life. I didn't know what I wanted to do, what I want to specialize in. There's so much areas that, I think majority of students have that dilemma. We want to ace all the exams. Yes, we're doing that. We're getting good report cards, but where is the future taking us? Where's the academics taking us? So in this topic here, I was able to find out the different departments, different areas of a business that you will see within any business, within an economy. And from there, I was able to see that these different areas of a business, what they actually do. And I use that to try to develop within myself, what am I really good at? And this was in Form 4, when I was first deciding what am I going to do after CXC? Am I going to specialize in only business management, or am I going into finance? Am I going into economics? All of these things kind of, was in my mind. And this was a topic that kind of enlightened me a little bit. Obviously, I had to do more research before I knew, all right, I think I know what my strength is, what I would like to do. So these internal organizational environment is going to show us the different functional areas of a business. So we have the first functional area, which is production. The second one, we have finance. Then we have research and development. We have marketing, and we have personnel. And I'm sure by the end of this class, you all will know which one I really looked towards for my future career, what I'm still presently doing at this moment. So please have a pen, your notebook at the side, so that you all will be able to put, some additional information from what the slide is stating at this time, right? So let's start looking. What does the production department do? So, when you think of production, okay, I'm being told that you're not hearing me properly. Can I just get some feedback if I'm really picking up? Are you all hearing me okay? I just want to make sure. I know the internet connections have really been low even in my workplace and everything. So just making sure you guys are hearing. If you all are not, just please indicate it to me. Lovely. So let's look at what the production department is saying. So this department deals with the actual manufacturing or conversion of raw materials to a product for sale. It can include such activities as quality control, purchasing raw materials, organizing production, timing, etc. So when you think of the production department, think of these people coming into, like, say, a manufacturing firm to convert whatever they would have probably extracted, let's say from the earth, to make something out of it, to sell. So we're going to have production taking place on a production line. You want to be able to produce good quality goods. So quality control is very important. You don't want to slack on quality, because when you offer your goods for sale to your customers and they are not satisfied, let's say the whole population is not satisfied from your product, from your production, then that will lead to the business incurring a loss, right? Because the consumer is very important. You have to satisfy your consumer. And when we get into a lovely topic called marketing, which will be a little later down the road, we are going to see how best we can market products to make it enticing, how to capture your audience, how you're going to grab hold to your audience. We're going to see all of that, hopefully in this topic as well. But if not, look out for when we start, when we look at the marketing department, what they're going to be doing and how close they're going to be working with the production department to just get the products out there. So that is production. So that's just a little simple thing that I want to just let you all know about production. The next department we have is finance. And this area is concerned with the overall accounts of the business. For example, preparing income statements, balance sheets, maintaining cash flows, making payments, and issuing receipts, advising on source of capital, establishing hire purchase and credit controls, paying wages and salaries. Wow. Look at how much numbers you're seeing here. Just think of when in accounts, how you're going to be seeing a lot of numbers. Finance department, they more deal with the overall accounts of the entire business. They kind of ensure that the business stay, afloat. They stay afloat, whereby they are going to keep track of, are we making profits or are we making losses? Should we decrease our expenses? How do we increase our revenue? What can we invest in? What can we offer to customers so that they could come and purchase, and we could be able to make a good markup on our goods and services. So I am just briefly talking to you all about the finance department here. So that's what the finance department basically does. And then we have a lovely department called R&D, which stands for Research and Development. So this department carried out various types of research, such as product research, consumer research, financial research, as well as feasibility studies. So I'm just going to stop there for a while. Feasibility studies is basically where you being in a department, you're going to see what we should do and what we should not do. Feasibility studies is very important because it will show the business if we go down this road of, let's say, producing only consumer goods and capital goods, what is going to happen to the organization? What's going to happen to the economy? So we have to decide, should we do this or should we not do this? Which one is more feasible? So that's what the research and development department is going to be looking at. In this department, new products are developed or improvements are made to current ones as feedback is received from other departments such as the marketing department. All right, so we're speaking here about the R&D department and then we're coming down to a little marketing. Why do you think we need to get feedback from the marketing department? Because if you're doing our research and our development, why do you think we need to get some kind of response, some feedback from the marketing department? What do you guys think? Why do we need a marketing department? Very good, Sahana. So that, the R&D department, yes, they will be informed and they would also know, while they're being informed, they will know, all right, based on their research and development, based on all the questionnaires and all the observation, you all ever notice, well, I don't know if you all ever had that experience, but you go to the grocery, you go to Price Smart, and you see like people giving out free food, free samples. You all ever notice that? I mean, that's my lunch break right there, Price Smart. Because of all the free samples, yes, they give us. But do you all know why they are there? Why the R&D, well, sorry, the people are giving all these samples, why they're there? You think you're just generous and say, oh, I'm feeling generous, I'm just gonna give out free stuff. No, they're there because they want to test you. They want to see your purchasing power or your taste, your preference for this product. Well, you know me, I'm going to buy, I'm going to go to everyone. So chances are they might say, all right, this person really like everything here that we have to offer. But then there are some consumers who will sometimes say, no, thank you, not really, don't really like it. They will give feedback. So exactly what the student in the class just said is that they will be informed. They will have some kind of feedback from the marketing department that based on the questionnaires and the observation and testing the different consumers, they will know if they should continue to launch the product or they should just stop making the product or cease the production, right? All of this will have to be played into the minds of the marketing department and to relay the information to the research and development, because if they realize that consumers are not wanting the product, we have to do some more research. Should we put more colors? Should we make the product look a little bit more vibrant? Should it have a different taste, a different texture? All of these things, the marketing department will go back to the research and development to tell them, hey, up all the game a little bit. We need to put this aside, do this, do that. It calls for creative thinkers, and I'm sure you all have that, or you're creative, innovative thinkers. So let me see what these creative and innovative thinkers will think. They will be in the marketing department. When you think you are creative, marketing, we will identify, anticipate, and satisfy. I want to put all the needs and wants of consumers in a manner which will profit the organization. Activities that you will see in a marketing department will be marketing research, choosing methods of promotion, setting prices, product distribution, developing new products, etc. This department often works closely with the R&D department to design and develop new products. So I intentionally recorded this last sentence here for you guys, right? Because there was a multiple choice question that dealt with this whole activity between marketing and the R&D. R&D works closely with the marketing department. All right, you all okay with that? Right, R&D works closely with the marketing department. And then we have the personnel department. Now, this department is concerned with the human element of the organization. This includes training and development, recruitment of labor, improving morale, industrial relations, disciplining workers, administering leave, pension schemes, etc. So in this department, you guys, you will see someone there who is either, if I have any working persons here who probably working in the HR department, you are maybe working in the HR department, or you know people who are working in the HR department. How do you think their personality is like? Are they people friendly? Do you think they, they hear your needs, they hear your concerns in the organization? Do you all, for those who are working, I'm just asking those who may be working or know someone who's working. Yes, Katrina, they are kind towards customers. They are people friendly. We like to, improve the morale of the entire organization. We like to train people. We want to develop people, not just for here, but develop them as a human being. They will want to administer, they will have the different pension schemes. They will know how to discipline workers, not just to fire them because it is something wrong or whatever, unless it's really extreme. So based on these different departments that we just saw, we can see that from all that we looked at, the personnel department is really the heart of the organization. In my opinion, and I'm sure you all may agree or disagree, remember we could agree to disagree here as well. The personnel department is the heart of the organization. Without good people working for, let's say, the organization, let's say we have the HR department who is just very snobbish and they don't want to assist and train and develop people, we will have a culture that is lackadaisical. We don't want to have that in an organization. We want to continue to be motivated to work. So based on this, I know someone in the classroom was asking about which one pays more. I know when we're thinking of what we want to be in our future career, yes, money plays an important aspect in our decisions, but think of something that will also give you peace of mind. You might be like, nah, miss, I want money. I want only money. I want to bust out by 4 o'clock and I done. I don't want nobody calling me on my vacation day. I don't want nobody texting me after I leave work, nobody to keep me back in work. I just want to go there, make money and leave. If that is the case, then money might be really just your motivation. For people like myself, we want to develop. We want to make sure that if I'm being called upon, let's say after working hours, I am there to assist. I am there to train. I'm here to develop. That is my goal. That is my passion. So I hope I gave you all the hints of what my career path really looks at, which is dealing with persons. I am within the personnel line of work, which deals with a lot of people and including yourselves, right? So I am here to just develop and improve you all for the world of work out there. All right, so let me see if I can answer some information here in the chat. Yes, I know some of you all just want the money. That's cool. But there are other departments that will give you that peace of mind that you're working good for your money, and personal department do make good money for those who asking. They do. All departments, they do. It depends on what organization you get into, which we will talk about when we coming on closer to, the Form 5 syllabus. When we get closer to that, we're going to talk about different organizational goals, objectives, and what can motivate you as a worker, not just money, but as a person who wants to improve. All right. Yes. So the functions of management, a very popular question that will be in that exam. I don't think there have been a year that passed by for CXC that a question is not on this. Every year, functions of management comes in. So management, we know it's the process of combining all the resources of an organization, whether it be human or physical, towards achieving goals of the organization. Management comprises of all those individuals who collectively carry out the processes necessary to achieve those goals. So you being a manager, you have to have some kind of trait. You have to have some kind of goal, some intention for your organization. They have to be the role models of the organization. So the functions of management, if you were a manager, what would you put in place? What are your functions? What would you be doing? What would you make sure that you accomplish them? Well, we have it here on this slide. Very simply, functions of management, they have to have that capacity of planning their work correctly. All right? So just imagine me being a teacher here, and I don't come with no slides, no lesson plan, no objective. I just come here because I don't know what I come here for. I have no plan. You think this will be, this whole, getting distinctions will be a success? No. So functions of management, whatever career you get into, you have to have that capability of planning your work and ensuring that you execute it to the best of your ability. So that's planning. The second function of management that we have here is knowing how to direct. When we reach to the next topic, directing, we are going to see how different management styles will be used to direct the different employees, how the management is going to tell different employees how and what to do, which also flows right into delegating as well. So when we look at delegating, who does what, and we're going to give them some time span. We'll give them a time slot to complete those tasks. Management should be able to control the entire environment, everyone in the organization within this function here. Management should be able to have that organizing function. They must be organized. They cannot have their office cluttered. They have to have some kind of decorum. They have to have some workplace protocols. so that they will know how to organize the resources. Remember, not every organization will be able to be profiting. If they find that, because of the whole economic problem of scarcity, how well are we going to manage the organization? How well are we going to organize it so that we'll be able to still make our profits? Okay. Then the sixth function of management, which we are going to go in depth with, is coordinating. We're going to coordinate. We're going to look at all the different departments and know who will be doing what. And lastly, motivating. So let's look at them in more detail here now. So let's look at planning. So this function is carried out by top management. It involves the overall formulation of policy, aims, and objectives of the business. The structure of the organization is determined and various duties of other managers are set out. It gives the organization focus, and it is necessary because the firm operates in an uncertain environment. We know this. Whenever you write an essay, for those who are doing English or literature, don't you all write a plan before you write your essay? I'm sure some of you might say no, like when I was in school, they was telling me to write a plan, but I just want to write from what is on top of my head. But eventually I learned that with planning what you want to include in your essay, what you want to include in your organization, planning is critical. It is a criteria that you have to set out to stick with those objectives. Whatever you plan, you want to execute it to the best of your ability. With directing, so you guys, I just want to stress that this is very important. I'm going to keep saying it because in exams, they can ask you one out of these functions. So I know the common sense is there. Oh, planning. We want to be able to, plan the resources within the organization. But if you just say that in the exam, chances are you might lose some marks. You want to elaborate. So this is carried out by top management. It's all about setting policies, aims, and objectives of the organization. We want to be able to execute them. It gives the organization focus, right, in an uncertain environment. So that is planning. So you're all okay with that, right? Let me just see. All right, you all okay? Just making sure. I'm seeing some hands being raised here. Just, are you all okay? I'm giving you all a little time to just message me in the chat. But while you're messaging it, you're all okay, right? Okay. So I'm giving you already hints of what we're really going to be in those exams, right? It's so obvious that we know that if you go to the past papers, you will get them online as well. Planning, functions of management, you're all going to see it in the past papers. All right, so moving on. Directing. Directing is the next function of management. And this basically means giving instructions, usually on a daily basis to workers. It is carried out mainly by lower level managers. Do you all know what I mean by lower level managers? So they are not the main managers of the entire organization. So let's say in the finance department, we'll have a manager. In the marketing department, there will be a manager. In the production department, there will be a manager. In the personnel or HR department, there will be a manager. These managers are going to give or issue instructions to their workers. All right? Or in other words, their subordinates, those who work below them. And when we get to the organizational structures of an organization, you all will see how different organizations have different ways of directing their employees, how they will issue their instructions. So that's something that we have to look out for. Sometimes instructions can be given by a middleman. Sometimes the instructions can be given by the CEO. We have to be careful when we are in a particular organization. We have to pay close attention to the organizational structure. So directing is about giving instructions. The next function is delegating, which simply means assigning instructions that are transferred from management to subordinates, who are also given the authority to carry out those instructions. This will ensure that workload is being shared, mainly from top to middle level management. Functions are being carried out. So delegating, you're assigning instructions. So just going back, directing is giving instructions on a daily basis. Delegating is when you go to assign those instructions to your subordinates, who are also given the power to carry out the instructions. So delegating just ensures that everybody have a fair enough workload. Not one person has everything to do in the organization. But I'm sure some of you all who are working, or they might be in a position where you all might be doing everything. You don't know what your other employees is be doing. It happens. When they're done that, know how it is. Delegating, we want to ensure that everyone have an equal or shared amount of workload. Okay, so I hope you're all okay so far. All right, so I'm just going to highlight some questions here for the time being from in the chat. Student is asking what is the difference between a supervisor and a manager. So hearing the word a supervisor will be seen in various departments, right? So supervisor, let's say you are in a finance department, you will have a supervisor. But it doesn't mean that if I am in marketing, that your supervisor is my supervisor. My supervisor will only be in marketing. Your supervisor is only in finance. So that is a supervisor. And a manager, whereas a manager is someone who will oversee basically all the different departments. So I know this will make a lot more sense when we get into organizational structures. You will see it so vividly in diagrams where a supervisor may relate or might have to go to the manager for some type of authorization, some clarification. All right. So that is also something that, this is a very good question. All right. So managers are usually to the top of the organizational structure, but they are not the highest. We have the board of directors, we have the CEO, we have all these different personnel. So that's a very good question that was being asked. And I know we are going to have so much more questions coming up, because we see how we read section 2, you all are going to be asking more questions, because I know section 1 was just, the common sense and like, all right, yeah, cool, we understand, we notice. But this part here is where you all are going to be thinking now, all right, this is what happens. Can I do this? You all have to be looking out for this when you all enter the world of work. So this is something important to, ask yourself what these different functions are and how would you perform these functions. So delegating. we are through with this. This is just assigning instructions. All right. And then you'll remember what's the next function? Yes, controlling. So controlling is the regulation and monitoring of activities for the purpose of achieving profitable objectives and using corrective measures when the objectives are not being met. I'm repeating that. This is the regulation and monitoring of activities for the purpose of achieving profitable objectives and corrective measures when the objectives are not being met. It is carried out mainly by middle or lower level management. Top level management will engage in this function on a long-term basis, especially by looking at the overall financial position of the business. So when you think of controlling, just think of, your your parents who just want to see, let's say, the best of you. They want to ensure that you have a good education. If they find that you're not doing so, you're wasting too much time, you're sleeping too much, you're not studying enough, they are going to put measures in place to ensure that you get up and study. All right, I could talk from experience. Sleep was my best friend, and it is still my best friend. I love sleep. But you see, when it comes down to meeting objectives, I remembered, I'm just going to go off here a little bit. You know what, when we get to, when we start September, you all will see how much you all are going to enjoy PoB. I know you're enjoying it now, but yes, when we have to meet objectives, we have to have a manager in place to ensure that we have control taking place. If this is not happening, they have to come in. They have to do something about it. Control is very important. Right. So moving on to the next slide. I can't wait to start hearing from you guys. I feel like I am more talking. I can't wait I just can't wait, but I hope you all are putting down your points as well. Any additional information I'm providing, you all are free to write them in. So we'll be looking at the next function of management, which is organizing. Organizing is ensuring that everything is in place so that the operations can run smoothly and effectively. It is carried out mainly by middle or lower level management. All right. So just give me a second. Right. So organizing, we want to ensure that everything is run smoothly. Put things in place so that we will experience hiccups. There will be challenges in the organization. But if you put some stuff in place to expect it, we could still run through it smoothly. That is what you will plan to have your organization organized so that in the event there are any hiccups, any challenges that may be incurred, you all know how to go about sorting it out smoothly. We have here coordinating is the next one. So this is the bringing together of all the functions of the organization with the aim of harmonizing all activities to successfully achieve a common goal. This is the function of top and middle level management. So once we are able to bring all the functions of the organization together, so not together in one department. Think of HR department, finance department, R&D department, um, production department, all those other departments. We want to be able to harmonize all the activities so that we'll be able to achieve the common goals and the objectives. We want to make profits. How are we going to do that? We need to coordinate. We want to be able to not have different departments bickering and, throwing words and having war. We don't want to have that. Coordinating is about harmonizing the entire environment. And then we have motivating. Motivating, by the way, is another topic here in PoB. And we're going to see how motivation plays an important part in any organization and even in your normal work life. So it is to encourage and it provides incentives to employees. Motivating will help employees to achieve their best so that the goals of the organization can be met. We want to have that, we want to achieve it. Motivating is one of the other and final function of management. So you all remember these 7 or 8 functions of management. Please note them. They come a lot in the exam. So we are almost through with this particular topic. I want to make this topic very small, right? So that, I can answer any other questions that, you all may have before class finish tonight. Okay. So we are almost finished. So right now, by understanding the different functions of management, management also have a responsibility. Functions and responsibilities are different, but yet they go hand in hand. The management of any business has a number of responsibilities to the various stakeholders in the business environment. And I know your POA teacher for Form 4 would have spoken to you all, for those who may be doing Form 4 POA. We have this term called stakeholders. Anybody want to remind me what are stakeholders? What are stakeholders? So stakeholders, basically in layman terms, I'm not going to give you all the book definition, but just for you all to remember and understand and apply it to wherever. Stakeholders are basically those individuals who have a direct interest to an organization. So they have a direct interest, they have I want to get another word, but yes, direct interest. I'm going to stick with direct interest. They want to know exactly what's happening in the organization and how best we can achieve what is not being achieved in the organization. So those are basically stakeholders. For example, stakeholders could be internal stakeholders. We have external stakeholders. Some of the internal stakeholders might just be, your customers. Your customers will want to know how the business is really performing. What do they have to offer? What are the what's happening in the business. External, internal stakeholders could also be, management, the different managers in the organization, the owners. I'm seeing Jamal saying that, correct, right? So the owners could be the stakeholders. There are external stakeholders as well who may want to have an idea really what's happening in the business. So the government might want to make sure that that the business paying taxes, they are not robbing the government of any monies, things like that. Responsibilities of management is calling for um this information to be sent to these different stakeholders. So it is a responsibility, it is a responsibility of management. Okay. So because we're looking at the responsibilities of management, the stakeholder could be the owners, we just said that, also the shareholders, and their responsibility to these owners is to achieve profits. Management will have to ensure that they achieve profits within the organization. They'll want to be able to provide information such as annual reports. Another responsibility that managers will have to its shareholders is to protect the assets of the organization. They want to ensure that they reinvest some of the profits to ensure growth. And when we reach into Form 5 POA, this one point here, reinvesting some of the profits to ensure growth, we are going to be creating some kind of reserve. We are creating some kind of reserve whereby we will not spend all the money that we have in the business. We are going to keep back some. That's very important for the shareholders. I don't want to be part of a business and always spending out all the money. What dividends am I going to get? What profits am I going to get? None? Well, then that's not good. So management will have to ensure that the shareholders reinvest some of the profits to ensure growth. Managers will want to also ensure that dividends are declared. They are paid to the shareholders. Declaring dividends basically mean you're paying your dividends to your shareholders where possible. We have all of this to learn, different subject areas, but just note that this is dealing with, when you hear shareholders, you're thinking of company accounts. So for those who do POA with me last night, we reached partnership, we ain't dealing with shareholders yet. Shareholders will only come by when we start company accounts. All right, and you'll see how the declaring of dividends. All right, so we're doing POB. Let's go into back what we're doing here. Another responsibility of managers is to its employees, which is to ensure that employees have a fair wage, they have good working conditions. This is a priority. For those who are working, I'm sure you all will agree to this second point here. You don't want to have poor ergonomics in your working environment. You all know what I mean by ergonomics? When you sit by your desk, is anything in the ceiling leaking on you while you are doing your work? Some things like a hand rest, there's cords underneath your desk, you have that kind of, space, right? So managers have to have a responsibility to its employees to ensure good working conditions. Managers have to train employees. They will have to give entitlements of sick days and retirement days to these employees. Managers will also have to provide procedures to handle grievances. Grievances can take place at any time to any employee, whether it be the death or loss in the family. You know that it's part of life. Managers have to know how to handle it when an employee comes to address these issues. Managers have a responsibility to its customers as well. Managers have to ensure quality products and services are given to customers at a reasonable price. We spoke of quality at the start of this class. You want to ensure good quality goods and services. We want to be able to compensate customers for any injuries on the business compound. So if a customer falls or trips in the organization while visiting your compound, customers should have some kind of entitlement, some benefit, not benefit, but some type of compensation to these customers. We're going to look at all of this more in depth in our next topic, but we just getting the gist of what these managers have to do to the customers. Products or services should be safe. Managers have to conduct research to constantly improve quality. We don't want to lapse. They have fierce competition out there. We don't want to lapse when we want to improve. When we want to compete with other organizations, we have to keep improving our quality. Management will also have the responsibility to provide adequate labeling and instructions. You all ever got a product and there was no label to it and you don't know how to use it, what to do with it, what it is, what the side effects? You all ever got that before? You all ever had that experience where you're going to buy something and there's not a label, there's not a instruction on how to use the product? I'm sure you all would have probably experienced that already. So managers have to know that when customers see this, one out of two things can either happen. The customer will just simply don't buy, they will not buy the product, or they end up buying the product and let's just say they have some allergy information that they forgot to put on the product, poor labeling, poor instructions. That could lead into a lawsuit to these organizations. So it is important that you have adequate labeling and instructions. All right. Another, right, so we actually through with what managers have to, yes, Rihanna, while in the chat telling me, yes, different languages on the labels. Thank God for Google Translate, yes, you guys? Google Translate. They want to buy a little Chinese product or something, Google Translate it, because I'm sure some of y'all are allergic to shellfish like me, right? So it's good to have proper labeling and instructions. So yeah, those are the responsibilities to customers. Let's see, we just have 2 more slides again. Responsibility of managers to the society as a whole. And very clear, very important. Managers have to ensure that they do not pollute the environment. They have to conserve the scarce resources, which is water, fossil fuels, etc. And managers will have to preserve culture and traditions amongst the society. Management should be able to have, that capability of adapting to different cultures. If managers, I know some organizations, they may not want to celebrate this because they don't believe in this particular culture or tradition, then that is not a leading example of a good organization. We want to be able to have this cultural effect upon the whole society, because when they see this, obviously you will have that support, you'll have that profitability taking place within the organization. A society will see you as a reputable organization, right? You want to be seen as a reputable one? Believe in all these different cultures and traditions, adapt to it. It's hard to adapt to things that you are not accustomed to, but this is what society looks at. And the last responsibility that we have here for managers to the government, simply pay the taxes and abide by local and international laws which affect the industry. All right. So that's basically the end of session 4 of the summer program for PoB. At this time, I'm going to take whatever questions that you all may have. In the event that you all may be confused in any part of the whatever we would have done in the last 3 weeks, including today's class, if you all have any questions, now is a good time to really, ask the questions via the chat. I'm also going to help you all if you all have any questions on your registration. Please send me your Google accounts via the chat. You all have my contact number. If you all don't want to put it in the chat, you all are free to WhatsApp me. I'm going to just repeat the number again, 678-2487. You all can reach me there. And this is to register for all the business studies. There will be packages involved, so you all could ask me here in the chat while we conclude. And for those who this might be the last class or tomorrow might be the last class, you all enjoy the balance of the summer. Thank you, thank you, thank you again for joining in for these free sessions. I hope that it really would have imparted a lot of knowledge to you guys. And yes, I know tomorrow is the last class. We should have a fun class tomorrow. And yeah, I will see you guys hopefully for the new term, bright and early, September the 5th. All right, so you all have a wonderful evening, well, night now. Enjoy your dinner, and I'll talk to you guys soon. You all can message me in the chat if you all have your Google accounts ready. All right, so have a good night, and thanks again, everyone. Bye.